Hello, welcome back to the Speak Your Truth podcast. I am your host, Jaya Rose. I am an intuitive business coach, specialized in helping highly sensitive people and people who really want to help other people grow their brand and tell their story and really create that life that supports both their creativity, their work in the world, and of course, their bodies and thriving. So I want to talk to you today about values. Over the next month, I'm going to be actually a couple months. I guess it'll take me about 6 to 8 weeks. I'm going to be going over the framework of my Embodied Brand Academy. And that's because I'm going to be opening the doors here during the summer, and the next round will be opening in the fall. And I want to share with you some of the beautiful work we do in this program. The first piece that we always work on is our vision and our values. And specifically today, I want to talk to you about values because I find it to be such an important and underrated conversation. Like, it's not super sexy, but I did a poll in my Facebook group yesterday asking what type of free workshop everyone would want. And the one everyone picked, well, the majority of people, was about being magnetic and attracting clients consistently online. And what's kind of funny is that that's actually about your values, and it's about speaking your truth. And so clearly that's the name of this podcast. But if you think about being magnetic and what that really means, it's pretty interesting because think about a magnet. One side is super, super attractive, and when another magnet is near it, they cannot stay apart. They have to come together. And that's what we think about, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, I want to be magnetic. I want to have a magnetic brand. A lot of people use that terminology, including myself, because it's fantastic. But people only think about the side that's attracting something. What about the side that's repelling? That is half of the relationship. If you want to be magnetic, then you need to have equal parts attraction and repelling. And that means that you are being bold. And so what makes you truly magnetic is being full out in who you are. And how do we do that? We stand in our values. We know what we value. We know what's important to us, and we know why it's important to us. And then we share that. And that does make you magnetic. There are going to be people who are going to intensely relate to you and your message because of your lens, because of your lived experience, who you are, what you believe in, and what you value. And then there are going to be people who firmly do not relate, and they are polar opposite of the people who are into you. And I think there are a lot of people, and I really ask you to question yourself in this moment. Are you somebody who is willing to be as shiny and bright as possible in the online space and build your brand that way? And are you willing to turn people off? Are you willing to be so certain about who you are, what you're here to do, and who you're here to help, that the people who you're not here to help just don't even, you might even be invisible to them, or it depends on what your message is and what your vibe is and what you're saying. There could be people who want to argue. There could be haters. This does happen, of course. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like someone loving you so much and then people hating you. That's not it at all. It's the idea that when you speak your truth. So if I were to say to you, listen, this is what I value. I value connection over everything. Human connection is at the core of everything I do. And the reason is because I am a highly sensitive empath. And the people who I tend to work with are also highly sensitive empaths. And they want to leverage that connection piece in their business as well. And when they see my content, or they listen to this podcast, or they come into my space, they feel a knowing. Because they're intuitive and they are awake to their inner wisdom. And when they hear me and see me, they feel an inner knowing that I am an energetic match with them. That is my magnetism. That is my truth. And on the other side of that, does that mean people hate me? People are like, ew, highly sensitive empath. No, no, not at all. But if somebody were to listen to that and they are not at all a highly sensitive empath, they don't value connection. They're like, I came here to get rich quick. What are you talking about, Jaya? I want to build a brand online because I want to have $100,000 month and I want to build my clout and make a bunch of connections with people who are really famous in the online space. They're like, that's not what she's saying. They would just turn it off. They're not going to hate me, but they're not going to even care at all. And yet the other person who I'm describing and who I'm connecting with is going to deeply resonate with what I'm saying. And that's the key. So the whole magnet idea isn't, again, it's not that people are hating you, and that this can happen. People, that's called being polarizing. There are people who grow their brand and they get really big and have a lot of online following because they're polarizing, and there are going to be people who deeply disagree. And that's another story. That is not my intention, because I just don't care enough to do that. That I will stand up for what I believe in, and if it happens to be polarizing, then that's fine. But truly, it's more about the attraction piece. So I ask you, if I were to meet you or come onto your online platform, like wherever you are, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is, your website, am I going to get a sense of who you are? Am I going to understand what you value, what you believe, what you desire? Am I going to get that sense of who you are? Because if not, it's less likely I'm going to hire you. And this goes hand in hand. So being magnetic and working that attraction muscle then goes into, are you attracting the right people? Are you attracting people who then want to buy from you and work with you? And there's a couple facets to this. And actually, I'm going to be going into a deep dive workshop on the 29th of June. So this is June 29th, 2021. At 12:30 p.m. Pacific time in my Facebook group. So it's going to be a free workshop on a live video. If you're not a part of my Facebook group, highly recommend you join. I'll drop the link for you here. You don't need to put your email in or anything. All you need to do is join the Facebook group, and there will be an event. So if you go to the events part of the group, just say yes that you want to come, and that's it. It's super simple, but I'm going to be diving deep into this. How do you attract clients consistently? And part of it is about your values, and part of it is about your vision and what you're painting. What is your vision for the world? And this is what I help my clients with in the Embodied Brand Academy, because these aren't just fancy ideas. These are brand assets. So like I said, if I come to your website, am I going to know what you value? Are your values written on your website? Is your vision for the world written on your website? So I love starting out my program this way, because it is the key to that inner embodiment and then the outer magnetism. It truly is. It's being super clear within yourself so that you feel centered, you feel the purpose, and you feel really confident in speaking about what you believe and who you are and who you can help. But then the outer magnetism is the projection piece and really showing up. So I do want to talk to you about this today, about visibility, because this has been coming up a lot in this round of the Brand Academy. We're in our 5th month right now, and it's 6 months. So we're getting close to the end. And a number of my clients in there have done beautiful work, like so much clarity, embodiment, creating programs, and attracting clients. But today we had a call, and a couple of the ladies were talking about this resistance to visibility. And so I want to share with you some gems that came through. And I think it's really easy to think that, like, once you have everything together, like say you're super good at what you do and you know who you help, and you have a program, and you could totally sell it. You could take money for what you do, and you know that you could deliver. But you're like, I've been putting off the showing up part. Well, what I want to say to you is that this is half of your business. I think what some people don't understand, and I want you to really think about this for yourself, how much are you prioritizing your visibility? And are you considering it just as strongly as like showing up for a client? Like, for example, on a number of days a week, I have 3 clients. That's the most, and actually some of those times there's 4 people on a call. So I'm actually seeing more than 3 clients in a day, but that's the most number of hours that I see clients in a day. And what's really amazing is that I love it and I'm so good at it. And like, that's actually where I make money, right? With serving my clients. But what am I doing with the rest of my time? What am I doing with those couple more hours I have before I get Ava from school? I'll tell you, I'm getting on TikTok live. I'm creating TikToks. I'm answering people back, answering questions, answering clients or potential clients who have reached out to me. That is half of my business. I really feel that way. Like the creating content, creating free workshops. Like I mentioned to you, I'm going to be doing this workshop about using your story to be magnetic and attract clients consistently online. I need to create that, right? Like I need time, and I need to put time into it. And I think it's really easy to think, oh, I'll just do that later. But you need to bake your visibility into your business plan and into what you're doing. And to really look around and say, okay, there are some people who might have a 6-figure or multiple 6-figure business who aren't being very visible because they grew a network online, or they're just friends with people who have a really big network. But that is the exception. That is not the rule. And so most people that you see who have a 6-figure coaching business or a 6-figure business at all have a lot of visibility also in their business. And you're probably not the exception. You're probably the rule. I know I am. I mean, I attract clients because I show up, I give value. I post multiple times a day on TikTok. I post in my Facebook group. I do free workshops. I create this podcast. I hire a VA to promote the podcast, to send it to my list. Like, this is a huge portion of my business. So I want you to recognize that if you want the results that someone else has, then it's really important to look at the actions they're taking. And I know that sounds simple, but for something like visibility, which brings up a lot of resistance for a lot of people and a lot of insecurities, it's really important to remind yourself of that. And say, just because you have clarity on what you're doing, or just because you're really good, like what if you're so good at what you're doing, which I fully believe you are, or you're so passionate about your vision and you're really passionate about helping people, that is awesome. You do need that. You do. And if you want to have a thriving online business that attracts soul fans and clients consistently, you need to be showing up consistently so they know who you are and can find you. So I hope this is a little bit like a pep talk today, but I'm curious what you took from this. I do have a post on Instagram. It depends on when you listen to this, but later in the day after I post the podcast, then we post on Instagram too. I would love it if you would come over and just share with me. Did you have any aha moments? Are you going to prioritize your visibility a little more? Be willing to be magnetic. So really share your values and your vision in a really bold and powerful way. You know, what are you going to do that's going to create a new and different outcome for you based on this podcast today? I would love to know. Please come over to Instagram. Let me know. And if you want to come to my Using Your Story to be Magnetic and Attract Soul Fans and Clients consistently online, just follow the link below, or you can always search Speak Your Truth Community for Transformational Leaders. That's the name of my community on Facebook, and that's where it's going to be. So much love to you, and just know that you're needed, you're valuable, and what you have to say is really important. Like, you have a unique story and lens, and we want to hear what you have to say from that lens and from your unique experience. So much love, and I'll see you next time on the Speak Your Truth podcast.